Yes, 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 YouTube. How's it going? What is everyone saying? Hope you're having a wonderful evening. It's a Monday evening at, well, just gone 8:30. I'm a little bit late, but bear with me. There's no intro today. I'm not gonna do no long thing, no intro. We're gonna get straight into this and we're gonna get straight into this live stream. Please let me know how the sound is coming on your end. So I'll give it a few minutes, just do my little intros. Welcome everyone to the live stream. Welcome, welcome everyone. Please make sure if you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. Please hit the like, everyone else. But I hope everyone is doing well today. I mean, I don't know whether anyone's into into Formula One like myself, but it's been it's been a a crazy last few days at all with everything that's gone on with the championship. Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton down to the final lap. The gods that be allowed a safety car at the end. Bit of controversy to say the least in regards to how the safety car ended on the last lap. Verstappen pitted, fresh set of tires, softer set of tires. Hamilton, he had track position, that's why they kept him out. But again, unfortunately, he was unable to defend, which I knew was going to be the case. And what do you know? What do you know? Max Verstappen overtook him on the last final lap, seal the race win, and then seal the championship. So yeah, man, it was yeah, just talking to people about it, it's just been crazy. But overall, I will say this though. At the start of the year, I would have wanted someone else to win because I thought Hamilton won it for the last 4 or 5 years. He's won 7 championships. But you know what? I'm actually kind of happy, big picture, now that Max Verstappen won because it's someone different, and we needed someone different in the sport because people don't like it when you know who's going to win at the end of the year. It's always been a thing where people just, especially for sports' sake, especially a sport like Formula One, where it's hard to get people really interested in it by looking at it because it can be quite boring at times. But yeah, it was definitely something I think, big picture now, it was necessary for the the sport that is Formula One. But yeah, Skittles man reloaded. What you saying? How's it going? Hope you're doing all right. Hear my court face. yeah. Get the likes up, everyone. But yeah, please make sure that when you come into the chat, make sure you please like this stream, subscribe if you are new. So you all saw the title, you've seen the thumbnail, and so let's just get into this right now. It ain't gonna be no ranting, it ain't gonna be this. It's just gonna be kind of an observation, the end of year 2021 observation, just my thoughts at the moment. So okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah, to be fair to you, I think had that drama not happened, it would have been a damp squid. So I think had that not happened, it would have just been one of those situations where, boy, I'm telling you, it would have been a damp squid. But yeah, I'm sad that you start watching Formula One. Why is that the case? I mean, yeah, it's interesting, but but yeah, hopefully though next year with all the rule change, everything, it should be a hell of a lot better, and hopefully Red Bull and Ferrari, McLaren can get back up there. But we'll see. But anyway, so the title of this video, the reason for this live stream is just because I don't know how I got onto this live stream, but I was, it is, you just scanning YouTube recommends certain algorithms, etc. And I came across this live stream where you had these men on the panel. It was a men's channel, and they were talking about some issue that took place, as always. I'm going to get into that now. And they were talking about another guy, and for some odd reason, there was like 5 guys, one gal on the panel, and they were talking about another man's penis size. And I was like, I had to like rewind, pause, just to make sure I understood exactly what I was hearing. But they were kikiing, laughing, giggling about how they caught wind of another guy who they clearly don't like. That's clearly number one. So number one, they don't like this particular individual, and they found out some information about, again, some things which I don't know. Maybe I'm just old school. Maybe I'm just too old these days. But there's certain things I thought as men you kind of just don't discuss. I mean, when women discuss these little things, it's like, all right, no pun intended. But when women discuss these things, I'm just like, all right, that's one thing. But when I heard a panel of men laughing and giggling about another man's penis size, ripping him, all this kind of stuff, I thought, bro, This is the space, unfortunately, that just sitting back, observing everything, and this is the reason why I had to do this live stream. I thought, I couldn't. I was trying to stay away from a lot of the crap, but I thought, let me just. I had to address this because, man, I'm telling you, when I see men these days, and the thing is, this ain't even about. This wasn't even a red pill space. So this is nothing to do with red pill. This is nothing to do with no black pill. This is nothing to do with no manosphere. This was a completely different space, and the spaces that I've been operating in, which supposedly is meant to be about consciousness, whether it be about anything else, Pan Africanism, whether it be about manosphere topic, whether it be about sporting, whatever space that I've seen men in and men predominantly in the airways, you know what I see? I see a group of men who I'm telling you, they act, they carry on like a bunch of women. And I thought to myself, man, and it doesn't even matter the age range. This ain't age specific, this ain't race specific. Because when you actually look at the when I'm gonna go into some of the case studies, I'm gonna go into some of the evidence just to back up what I'm saying. But my God, if there's anything I've observed over this year, especially, and I don't know whether it's because of what's been going on with the lockdown, I don't know, but it's no excuse. There's no excuse. But the things that I've been seeing, the things that I've been observing, just what I've witnessed, it just makes me think, do you know what? A lot of things that people say about men these days, I can't even people talk about, transgenders and all these kind of other things. But you know what? A lot of these guys these days, a lot of them men, these full-blown men, I'm telling you, they act more like women than the women that they who are meant to be, all these they they're the new women. This is the title of this live stream, and this is what I really want to get into because there's a few things that, and help me out if you've seen this, if you've heard this, which I've just been silently observing, just been watching, and I try not to get involved in too much of the BS. From time to time, it comes up just because it is what it is. I get it, but for the most part, I try and avoid the BS because all this is just, let's be honest, it's just feminine energy that I'm witnessing, that I'm seeing, and these are meant to be men. The worst part thing about it, these are meant to be men who tell me that they're meant to be masculine. They're meant to be these alphas. I hate that goddamn word as well, alphas. I really hate that stupid word, alphas. I hate these alpha betas. I hate these red pill, blue pill. I hate these terms. I do. I don't use them in everyday life. I know people who I speak to don't use these words in everyday life. But for the purpose of this conversation, for the purpose of the viewers who are aware of these terms, I'm going to use it. But these guys talk about how they're meant to be alphas. These guys are meant to be special. These guys are meant to be that top tier. These guys are meant to be the elite, the teachers. These are these people I'm talking about. And the first thing, the first thing that I've noticed that I'm pretty sure everyone has to have noticed, surely by now, especially the end of this year, is this. Don't you realize that men's channels now are nothing but gossip channels? Now, again, the live stream that I was on, I'm telling you, that I was, just listening to. Let's just say that because I wasn't participating in the chat. I was just, I don't know how I caught it again. YouTube with its, infinite wisdom, the algorithm, whatever, and it took me down a bit of a black hole. But men now have become professional gossipers. I mean, the content that men are producing nowadays is nothing but gossip. It's he said, she said. It's whatever thing is trending, whatever gossip topics. It's not even topics in which it even is, I would say this, educational, if it's even edifying in terms of the content. It doesn't elevate the content even higher. It's all low seeded hanging fruit, and it's all wrapped around gossip. I mean, and again, this is another thing that kills me as well, because this transcends race, this transcends sector, and this for sure transcends your so-called educational background, your class background, because I'm talking about people's background who, if you try and check them on what they're talking about, they will come back and say, I've got a master's, I've got a PhD, I've got a degree. I'm a former accountant, I'm a former lawyer, I'm a barrister, I'm a paralegal. These are professional peoples. I'm a doctor. These aren't people who you could say are the stereotypical, people who haven't got anything going for themselves, people who don't have a degree, even though that doesn't mean anything. But these aren't those kind of people. No, 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 no. These aren't the ones who are getting in on the professional gossip. It's actual professional people getting in on this gossip. And I'm looking at these men's channels. I'm looking at whatever sector it is, and it's nothing but a full of their content is nothing but gossip, gossip news. Whoever's trending, what did Sierra do? What's Russell Wilson doing? What's his IG model saying? What kind of big name, big stars getting finessed? It's all gossip. And the thing is, people would always bust back, and this, and I'm like, these are guys who bust back and say this when you make observations like, yo, how is it you guys are involved in all this messy BS? I mean, it's just so flipping messy. And these are guys, these are men. Because I was under the impression, correct me if I'm wrong, that men didn't used to get involved into gossip. Now, I'm going to describe what gossip is as opposed to going over what happened in your personal life. Because it's two different things. Because if something happens to you in your personal life, that's something different. If somebody attacks you, if somebody's saying something negative about you, I believe you have the right to talk about it to whatever audience. I mean, one thing I have to say nowadays is I don't know why. I don't know why people seem to want to go to, social media to air out all their personal beefs, grievances, personal lives. That is not me. That is not me. People seem to want to air out their whole life on social media, and I don't get it. I just don't get it. So people have nowhere to turn, because if you air out your whole your personal life on social media, everyone's gonna know about it. And here's the thing: this is where the gossip turns into place. Now, there's a difference between gossip and personal situation. You go for a situation that's personal. You're talking about it. That's what you went through. Here's gossip. Oh, did you hear about so and so who has nothing to do about you? Did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? This is gossip, and this is what men, and I'm being honest with you, predominantly men who are engaging in. And the thing is, people are going to say this, and this is another thing I hate. Oh, what about the women? That's what women are supposed to do. So I'm not going to get on the women, because that's kind of how you expected women to be doing, gossiping, talking about he said, she said. Even though I know not all women do this, we get this. But what I'm seeing from the guys this year in particular, it's been nothing short of absolute disgrace. The amount of content creations that have evolved around gossip, it's not even content. And this is the thing that, and nowadays, I'm going to say this. I don't know if you've all noticed this again, but this is just my observations. This is what I've observed over the last year, but this has been going on for ages. But if we just ring fence it to this year, what I've observed in terms of content has actually devolved. It's regressed. It's not progressed. Now, I have my complaints about the manosphere at large in terms of basically the direction that it's gone into. Because again, cue gossip. It's all about gossip, 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 gossip. He said, she said. What does this show? And it's all there to try and fuel that red pill rage, that trauma porn. So I have all these so I have a lot of criticisms of the manosphere. But one thing which I did respect at the start of all of this was the content. The content evolved. The content was new. You had philosophies. You had ideologies. You had MGTOW, AWOL, NOWOL. You had the various factions in that. You had the black pillars, of course. You had maybe purple pills. You had all these different pills, all the different ideologies, but it was surrounded by the philosophies of content. It was about bringing the space to another level. Ibmore, I forgot about Ibmore. You had all these kinds of ideologies in which the space was about content. Now, whether you agreed with it or not I'm not going to discuss that. But the tenets, there was tenets about it. There was a foundation. There was how I assumed men would be. They would have a philosophy that they would stand by. They would set up their roots, their tenets. If they disagreed, you know what they'll do? They'll say, all right, cool. You have that side. Cool. I'm going to go and form my own tribe. I'm going to call it again, Ibmore, NOWOL, OWOL. Again, people have their disagreements. That's how these factions came out to be. It's like the church. If anyone knows the history of the church, going back to Henry VIII's time, the church was under one rulership, which was pretty much the Catholic Church. And it wasn't until Martin Luther decided, I suppose, I say decided, but there was a massive breakaway that took place in which you had Protestants, in which you had and since then there's been the church itself has basically transformed itself into so many different factions: Baptist, Methodist, Kojic, Pentecostal, all these kind of things. This is why This is what men did. If you disagreed and you couldn't amicably resolve differences, you know what you do? All right, cool. I got you. I got you. You've got that side. I've got this side. I'm going to have my group of people here who are going to not necessarily hate on another group. We just have a different of opinions. We've interpreted this differently. We've interpreted this text that we call, again, using the red pill now, we interpreted this red pill text in a different way. So all we're going to do now is go away and we're going to form our basis, and this is how we're going to do it. Cool. So that's why I liked it at the start, because it was obviously it was fresh, it was new, but you know what? It was about the content, and it was about how the content evolved. Now, no. The content is all about gossip. The content has devolved. Now, in a way, you could argue there's been less factions in terms of what people call themselves. AWOL, which is, you could argue, which is good. So you have less factions now. It's all been kind of amalgamated into, let's be honest, I'm going to get into this later, cliques. Because now, with all the gossiping and what it creates, there's offshoots of that, which, as you can imagine, because now the content is now on the decline. Because let's be honest, the content now is just terrible. I'm actually trying to look for decent content from male creators or even just general content creators nowadays, and I'm just like this. I cannot, for the life of me, listen to these kind of contents because their whole content is just around gossip, and they're all trying to be like. If anyone knows who Tasha K is, now, Tasha K, again, the reason I'm not going to get on her case is because I'm just going to keep it real. She's a woman. I expect this from a woman. I expect her to be messy. I expect her to be like this. I expect her to be petty. I expect her to be emotional. I expect her as a woman to be like this. I mean, look, whether that's fair or not, it is what it is. But when I see guys emulating that kind of space and emulating that kind of content, I've got to have, someone's got to say, look, time out. What are we trying to be? What are we trying to become? What is happening to the space of men, that men themselves are engaging in the exact same content tactics that women are doing? I already know, and you can set your watch to it. And someone in the chat, Skittles man, you mentioned something. And yeah, I'm gonna touch on it. I'm gonna touch on this because I already knew the whole situation with Fresh and Fit. I already knew. You set your watch to it. I want to ask everyone in the chat, when that whole situation happened with Fresh and Fit, the first time, the second time, the third time, whichever time it is, how many people thought we're going to have a whole load of response videos? We're going to have a whole load of people comment on it, doing their reaction videos. We're going to have a whole load of content creators now. Again, emphasis on content creators doing their responses, chiming in with their 2 pence worth, trying to get in on the act, or showing themselves for the gossip queens that they are. Who thought this? Who actually thought themselves, you know what, I guarantee it, once this thing hit nuclear, and once you had like, it was, I think Playback was doing their video about the recent situation with the copyright strikes, you had Abram Preach, you had the lead attorney, you had all these content creators coming out. And you had those content creators because you could argue they were directly impacted. But then guess what else you had? Everybody else, everyone and their dog. I'm telling you, if you type in Fresh and Fit in the YouTube search algorithm, all you're going to see is nothing but a page full of gossip. And here's the thing. I can't even be mad, you know. I can't even be mad because one thing which this space is all about, and yeah, Captain Tosin, you are 100% right. But that exposes men. This space is all about entertainment. Now, you are 100% correct. It is. But it exposes guys because guys talk the most about women do this and women respond to things in the media, women respond to entertainment, women do this, women do that, women are programmed by things like the media more than guys. I gotta say to you, that's some bullshit. That is some bullshit. And when I saw that kind of stuff, when I saw the outbursts, when I saw the outbreaks, when I saw the responses, I thought my timeline was full of that crap. And I was like, I'm not doing no stupid video on it. I ain't even worried about it. I'm just like, listen, you guys go on about your business, do what you need to do. Cool. I'm not even hating on it. But you're right. This space is all about entertainment. But my question is this: who's the space full of? Men. Men. And the reason I'm making this critique about it is because It's one thing if men enjoyed the entertainment for what it was and put it down. But you know what? They don't. They live for it. And this is the thing about it. And this is what it breeds because all these things just lead to beefs. This whole situation that men thrive upon, this entertainment so called, is all centered around what? Beefs, petty beefs. Again, another feminine trait. Women are meant to be petty. Women are meant to be the ones who, you know what? Every 5 seconds, oh, I hate this bitch. Oh, she thinks she's so this. I'm like, all right, all right. Whereas these guys, I'm telling you, and this is where this Fresh and Fit is a classic case study because just going to give my little opinion on it. I did a video about Fresh and Fit, and my feelings are well known about how I feel about Fresh and Fit. But truth be told, I don't actually care because at the end of the day, and I did a follow-up video, ever since they've had their beefs, they've come back stronger and harder. Another reason why? Because guess what? This space is all about entertainment. And who are the subscribers? Who are the people listening? The men. The men are the ones who are listening to it. They're the ones in the majority who are subscribed, who listen to it. So let's be honest, the audience, the market is the one that counts. The market decides. So for whatever reason, the men in the space, they want this. They like this feminine energy. They like this entertainment, which is a bit like, let's be honest, people used to kill women about love and hip hop. Oh, reality shows, love and hip hop, all the kind of sub series, you know, Geordie Shore and all these kind of things like Housewives of this. You had Made in Towie, you had what else is it? Made in Chelsea, all these kind of things which men were like, oh, you see this, this is damaging the women, this is damaging our girls, this is blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I agree with you. I agree. But what about this? What about this? You go to any of their pages, any of them, any of the so-called big manosphere spaces, Kevin Samuels, Freshman Fit, Donovan Sharp, Osei Duke Jackson, all of them. What do they all have in common? They all get off regarding their beefs. Now, not all necessarily beefs with content creators, but it could be beefs when it comes to audience members. It could be beef when it comes to whatever it is. It's all about the emotional triggering. Key on the word here, emotional triggering of the respective audience. So once you have the emotional triggering of the audience, and these are men now, they respond in like kind. They subscribe, they comment. Yeah, you see them all comment on there. I'm like, all right. And all it is, and a lot of times I'm like, a lot of this is just fake. And this is another thing as well. A lot of these things are just fake. When it comes down to it, I'm like, but I can't even be mad. The thing is, I can't even be mad because guess what? The market decides. And guess what? Whatever the market decides, guess what? Is what people actually want to listen to. And listen, fair play to them. The content creators themselves, even though content is on the decline, they're making money off the audience, which again, I have to come back to this, is mostly men. Mostly men who like this. And these are the same men who talk about everything about women and this. And I'm like, oh, I'm telling you, men have now transformed themselves. They have transformed themselves. Now, Captain Toaston, you mentioned that UK manosphere follows the true tenets of the manosphere. It's very informative. Now, you're gonna have to tell me, if you include me in this, all right, fine. But even though I don't consider myself manosphere, I'm just gonna say that. So you have to tell me who are these people who you consider to be, you know, the manosphere who follow the true tenets. Because even UK manosphere, they get involved in, well, the ones that I listen to, some of them that I've frequented. I'm like, they get involved in the muck and mine when it comes to a lot of these BS topics. And I'm just like this. Again, this is one of the beasts which I might have to do a live stream on this later on about UK people. We seem to always want to not create our own and just follow after US man, the man them over there. But you have to tell me who is it that you're referring to. Okay, okay. I respect that. I respect that. I mean, listen, listen. I do my thing. I do my thing over here. If you like it, cool. If you want to emulate me, man, I say create your own lane personally. But no, I hear that. I hear that. But no, big up to him. And this is why I wanted to try and definitely change my content going forward in regards to just more positive aspects of the space and just of what black men and black women in particular are doing. Just because, you know, not everything's all about drama. Not everything's all about emotional beings. Not everything's all about just dystopia. And this is another thing that we do is if I just sort of transfer it to a black thing, and this is something that I've been guilty of doing, which I will definitely take full accountability for, is we do seem to um what's the word? We benefit off the trauma of our own people. regardless of which side of the fence you fall under, whether you are more on the, let's just say you're on the liberal side or the labor left side or on the right side, both of us seem to live and die for whatever drama, whatever dystopia, whatever issues that take place, as opposed to actually again having an uplift in terms of content. So I take responsibility for it. Again, a lot of times it's just because of, if you be honest with it, again, like the whole beef stuff. We all know quick views, boost your channel, etc., etc., etc. But that's why I just, when I look at the panoramic view of the space that men reside in, men now, again, men are supposed to be the leaders. That's what you guys tell me, and I agree with that. Men tell me that you guys build. Men tell me that you guys are evolved past a certain level. I'm like, bro, if you guys are all about gossip, I can't respect that. And beefs, petty beefs. I mean, again, I got to use the Fresh and Fit as a classic example, because when you look at it, it's the most pettiest ish you've ever seen in your life, because it really did start by Ab and Preach. I ain't gonna lie to you. They made their video, and then obviously Fresh and Fit got in their emotions. Again, got in their emotions. Why? Why did they get in their emotions? Because this space is an emotional trigger point. This whole space is nothing but an emotional trigger point. Even Ab and Preach engage in it with their titles, with their thumbnails. Everything is an emotional trigger point. It's to get you emotionally invested. I get that. I'm cool with that. I get it. But this is the whole point. All these emotions, and it's irrational emotions as well. It's not even like it's even calm emotions, because to be stoic is an emotion. To be objective is a kind of emotion. To be blasé is an emotion. To be angry is an emotion, as well as to be irrational. That's also an emotion. But it's irrational emotions which just are, because guess what? The space is all about triggering man. Triggering women. That's all that the space is all about. And it's just so petty. So this is why when you see these beefs with content creators, not only is it petty in terms of how it starts, it's petty in terms of the length that it lasts for. It's petty in terms of how people take it. And it's so petty that if anyone understands the manosphere, they've gone through like 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. It's so petty. It's not even real. It's not even a joke. Everything about this space screams of feminine energy, but let them tell it. Let them tell it. They're doing more good than harm. They're doing more good than harm. But I'm going to get into how that is a lie as well. But before I do, I'm just going to say, take a bit of a pause, take a bit of a breather, say what's up to everyone in the chat. I see some new people here. Vincent, how's it going? All right, can't stay too long. All right, cool. But no, thanks for showing some love. Please make sure that you do like the stream on the way in. Again, as usual, subscribe if you want to, and listen on the playback. So yeah, no, it's all cool, man. Your input is always appreciated. Fiona, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you in a long time. Hope you're doing well. African Empress, same to you. I've not seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. Hope you've been keeping well, keeping your health. Hope you're all good. But but yeah, gossip filled with lies. I'm a female. I've never heard so much gossip or lies from the women I've ever known, ever. How is this affecting women's man's life? Yeah, this is it. Gossip. It's just crazy. It's so much gossip. And then, yeah, you said lies as well. I'm not really mentioning that, but you're right. There's so much lies involved with this gossip, and it's just, it's just crazy. How does it affect men's lives? I mean, listen, I don't know if you believe this. I do, to be fair. But you know, when you go onto certain content creators, there's a certain energy that you receive from that content creator when you listen to their content, good, bad, or indifferent. And it's like music. There's certain types of music that when I'm upset, if you like, or when I'm not in a good mood, I listen to certain music which lifts my spirit up. Likewise, if I want to get, pepped up for go to a gym or something, there's certain types of music that gets me in the mood. There's certain types of music that I listen to, and I'm pretty sure everyone else can agree with that. Depending on your mood, it suits it, and or it either does two things: it gets you further into that negative or positive space, or it almost changes your mindset because of the music and how it really transforms your mind. It's the same with content creators. So when you say how does this affect women's and men's lives, a lot of times it's a lot of the spirit that they transform based on their content, based on everything. You can tell somebody who's listened to a certain type of content creator based on your interaction with that person, the spirit. Just like everything that you do says everything about you, all the spirit that you have on it. So I don't know if you believe in that kind of esoteric type of things where depending on what you listen to, it's sort of a spirit that sort of that jumps on you. Like when you watch certain TV shows, everything that you watch, all our senses, our senses that we have, it all creates some sort of energy, which either makes it positive or negative. And again, it depends if you believe in this. Depending on your state of mind, it can affect health in terms of actual physical health. And also, it can affect mental health in terms of whether you feel defeatist, when you feel good about yourself, bad about yourself. Because at the end of the day, men and women have told me that they feel awful listening to certain types of content creators. And sometimes you're like, well, you don't know that content creator. You've never seen that content creator in your life. And why don't you just turn off the channel? And sometimes it's like, it's the spirit that they've put on them, which puts them in a sour mood that even sometimes they can't really explain it. But it's because, again, a lot of content creators, just based on what we do, there's a certain spirit that we absorb when it comes to this kind of stuff. So yeah, so it definitely affects people's lives. I'm telling you that now. So that's why I'm like, I gotta just change my tune. I gotta, show a positive outlook, not because I'm trying to absolve bad things from happening, because there are bad things that happen, but it's just because of I understand the responsibility that a lot of these content creators either they don't care about or they know about it and they're too far. Let's be honest, they're too far gone in terms of the subscriber count, financial backing. Because let's be honest, this is a business. This YouTube game ain't nothing but a business. And once you understand that, that hopefully helps a lot of people understand when you see content creators not living the life that they preach. I mean, I was again listening to this live stream and there was talking about, elevating the space. And this content creator was saying, I tried to do that, but I was told under no circumstances to change the tactic of the conversation, because if we do that, and I quote, if we do this, it's gonna mess up our bottom line. In effect, I'm paraphrasing, but that's what they were saying. If we do that, it's gonna mess up our bottom line. Now, when I heard that, and when I thought to myself, yep, that's exactly what I thought. The reason why a lot of these content creators repeat and gossip and say the exact same things, which I'm going to get into right now, is because if they don't, it's going to affect their bottom line. And this is because the audience, they participate in this, they want this. And if they go about actually telling you the truth, if they go about telling you actually, being a bit more objective, if they actually tell you that, everything's not like as black and white, then guess what? They're not going to get their bottom line is going to be less and less every single month. And that's what happens. It's just absolutely crazy. But what can I say? What can I say? But yeah, man. I don't disagree with you, man. I don't disagree. Sometimes certain people they don't vibe with it, and I don't disagree. I don't vibe with it. I'm just like flipping neck. So I have to just watch what I'm listening to, watch what I'm watching, and just if you are that person who can take it and leave it and not let it affect you, then cool. But I'll be honest with you, um, I can't do that. And this is where when it comes to this quote that people tell me, because people always say when I always make these kind of criticisms, people say, yeah, but hold on a second, I get some good nuggets of information from here. I get there's some good gems, and here's my response to that. While that may be true, it's like this: if a human being was to eat McDonald's every day for the rest of their life, are they likely to be healthy or unhealthy if their consistent diet is fast food? Now, when I look at McDonald's adverts, you know what they actually do you know how they pitch it? If you watch the recent McDonald's adverts, even KFC, it's fresh lettuce, fresh tomato, it's healthy. The chicken is nicely done. It's all nice and fresh food. Healthy. I mean, lettuce is healthy. Tomato is healthy. So somebody could say to me, hold on a second, McDonald's burgers, they have lettuce, they have gherkin, they have tomatoes. That's healthy nuggets. But what is it wrapped around? It's wrapped around fast food, red meat, ESGs with Chinese. It's wrapped around just absolute mess that your body is going to reject. So if your diet consists of fast food, regardless of the nuggets that you're eating, the healthy nuggets that you tell me that, oh, it gives me good advice here and good advice here, do you know what you're going to be? You're going to be fat. You're gonna look like you've ate fast food for the rest of your life, as opposed to, guess what? If your diet is a healthy diet, a balanced diet, guess what? You're gonna look and sound and feel a completely different human being. Know the reason why? Because you're not eating nuggets of good food. Your whole diet, your staple food is nothing but healthy food. And this is what the difference between when I have my criticisms, because people always bust back and say, oh, hold on a second, but they give us good advice about this once every 5 months. They give us good advice about this once every year. But guess what? What is their main staple diet? What are they known for? What are McDonald's known for? If you go to McDonald's, you go to KFC, you can get the salad at KFC. You can get a salad at KFC. Ain't no one going to KFC to have no salad. Ain't no one going to McDonald's because they care about the lettuce. Now, people talk about coleslaw and all this kind of other stuff, but let's be honest. Ain't no one going to these fast food places because they want the healthy food. It's quick, it's easy, and it makes them feel good for that moment. But as we know, if it's over a staple period of time, you are going to feel those effects and then negative effects. That's how I would describe a lot of these spaces. These spaces who tell you, beware of people who tell you, but they have good piece of information. Beware of that because that is not how you want to judge it. That's how I look at things nowadays. Beware of people who tell you, yeah, but they provide good information. No, 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 no. What is the staple diet? What are people going there for? People go to certain places for certain types of food for certain reasons. That's how you know. And if you eat that all the time, we know what it is. So that's how I take it. That's how I would describe that kind of stuff. But that's the space that we have right now. It's just gossip filled. It's just always emotional, drama filled pettiness. It's all horrible fast food, fatty food. It's all that red meat. It's everything in which your body just it should not be intaken, even if they believe it's to be for your good. It just ain't. It just ain't. And another observation I made over this year, which this one actually, this one makes me laugh to this day. Because again, this transcends again, forget the red pill space for a second, because a lot of other spaces which I go into. And let me just like Pan-Africanism is a space that I go into. Um, some of the other consciousness communities space that I go into, and again, they operate under the same tenets. I mean, there's some Pan-Africanist channels, there's some Back to Africa channels who you would think that they would be all about again men now, business, setting it up. But my days, my flipping days, they descend into the same carnage. So this ain't about, this ain't even about race now because white people do the exact same thing. This is another thing. I ain't gonna get into that. Even though I do focus on, black folks, and I'm a black man, but this transcends all of those categories, man, when it comes to just pettiness, beefs, gossiping. I mean, again, I was looking at Pan-Africanism and just because it's always one of those things which, at the back of your mind thinking, is this a viable opportunity to go into? And listen, it ain't even him. It ain't even him. I'm telling you, it's not him. I'm talking about individuals who have gone back to the continent in various different countries and they've got their channels. And all you have, I'm telling you, all you have is this person's a scammer, this person's a scammer, that person's a scammer, this person's a scam. Oh, what's so and so doing? What's so and so doing? I'm like, oh my gosh. And again, those lives, those lives, man, in the chat, the people them in the chat, they are going off. Now the reason why it gets the most engagements because again, as Captain Tozen said, it's all about that entertainment. It's all about that drama. So Umar Johnson, he's an easy target. He's so easy target for everyone and everything to talk about all the issues and all the bad man, all the kind of people who don't do what they say. He's an easy target. But I'm not even talking about him. I'm talking about load of them engage in all of it. And then when that does not work, I've seen a few of them. Guess what? They talk about the same tired ass topics that people who I thought would be, no offense, kind of beneath them. Some of these topics I thought would be beneath these kind of people. No, it's not. Now I get you may dabble in certain topics because relationship it involves everyone. I get that. But when you listen to these topics, I'm telling you, it's almost like they want to be the exact same, an exact replica of the people who, I'll be honest with you, I thought you guys won't have anything to do with. And this goes on to my next point and how this whole year, if anything, has exposed, it kind of solidifies this whole, and I hate this term now, alpha, beta, and all this kind of other stuff, but it solidifies it to the max that most of the men in this space are nothing but followers, nothing but followers, as opposed to leaders. And I'm talking about the ones who set themselves up as self-proclaimed leaders, in effect. Because screw it, we're gonna have to go here. We're gonna have to go here. When KS blew up, which was it was last year, he blew up, isn't it? But since he blew up last year, and obviously it's still into this year, again, you just have to see everything. You have to be on the outside, I believe, to really see it for what it is. But when KS blew up, what do you think these so-called alpha males decided to do once they realized that KS blew up because of the type of content that he did? What do you think alpha males would do? Now, do you think alpha males will want to, I don't know, say, all right, big up to KS. He did his thing. He's doing his thing. We're going to still progress in our lane. We're going to just do our thing. We're not going to worry about that. We're not going to get involved in that, even though we saw because it is spectacular, his growth, spectacular growth, what he's doing, who he's talking about, who, he's on all these other kind of places. Now, do you think a space full of alpha males, high tier men, would do something completely different, or do you think they'll be doing the exact same thing? What do you think? We all know what took place. They all decided to copy, and I mean this, copy the blueprint. They copied the blueprint. Now, you have to just understand exactly what the optics, the optics. Now, this is no shot. This is no shot. But do you know when you're on the outside and you look at the optics, just look at this. You have a man who, I'm pretty sure for all his life, he's had to dodge rumors of his sexuality. Let's be honest now, guys. I don't know how men are not, I don't know how men are just glossing over this. But you have a guy who all his life he's had to dodge questions of his sexuality. Even when a lot of these things came out about him, it's not like it actually dampened these questions. It raised the questions. It raised the questions. And yet, guess what happened? Not only did they copy him, they doubled down on it. They came after anyone who said, hold on a second, guys, you guys are meant to be about this, yet this guy's preaching this. Not only did they double down on it when all this information came out, they were caping for him. Guess what they then decided to say? We need to protect him at all costs. They had a whole movement of men who are content creators, men who are supposed to be alphas, supposed to be leaders of the pack, their particular pack, saying we need to protect him at all costs. Let that sink in objectively. Now, again, a man who his sexuality has been questioned, and we all know how a lot of people feel about that persuasion, especially this conservative space. I mean, they talk about Black Lives Matter and how it's all about the LGBTQ alphabet community. They always talk about this kind of stuff, don't they? But yet and still, the one who they're self-proclaimed as their leader, because that's who it is. That's who it is. The one who they will let, I'm telling you, they will let him, God forbid, I have to say this out loud like this, but I'm pretty sure that they will let him bend them over and take it up the backside, and they will still call him the Godfather whilst he's doing it. That's how much they were caping for him. I'm telling you, that's how much they were caping for him. They would let KS bend, not the woman over, themselves over. They would take it real hard for KS and defend him to the ends of the earth. It is something which I've never seen in all my life. And I thought to myself, how has no guy saw this? Now, all of a sudden now, there are some men who are now coming off that bandwagon. But I'm like, no. You need to stay on that bandwagon. You need to stay on it. You need to stay completely on that bandwagon, because when people pointing it out, oh, you hating, oh, you don't like this, oh, you don't like that. I'm like, again, this is no shade. I'm not questioning sexuality. I'm just saying the optics, people, the optics. And this is a guy who talks about image. So it just made me chuckle how his rise, when I tell you it exposed that whole alpha beta dynamic, which again, I hate those kind of terms, but do you know why I'd say that exposed it? I'm telling you, it exposed it in ways which these guys still don't understand. But again, it's a business, it's entertainment. But bro, I'm sitting back, I'm creasing, because not only did they expose it when it comes to how they copied, because guess what? They copied his mannerisms. They copied his style of videos. They copied the title of his videos. They copied his catchphrases. They copied everything. Now, those who are in the know that a lot of KS's points came from people in the manosphere. But that's another side point. But these alphas copied the exact blueprint. They saw the blueprint and they copied it word for word, play by play. So much so that guess what was happening over the last few months? You know what it was? What's that Game of Thrones catchphrase? 'Cause that's what it is. The Game of Thrones catchphrase or Game of Thrones slogan. Winter is coming. So you have all these men following on the bandwagon, talk about winter is coming. They had that OnlyFans situation where there was talk about, oh, winter is coming. All these women are going to be homeless. All these women aren't going to be able to pay their bills. All these women ain't going to be doing this kind of stuff because winter is coming. Isn't that what they were saying? Well, when is it coming? When is it coming? But again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because, again, they would follow it to the ends of the earth. And you know what kills me the most? That leads me on to, I talked about, when people go against it and talk about, well, hold on a second. Because here's the thing about OnlyFans, as we all know. OnlyFans, reneged on their initial terms and conditions change, in which they were going to not allow, smutty content on their platform. But guess what? Boom. Once they realized that OnlyFans were going to take a massive hit on their revenue streams, back up and running they were. And guess what? Is anyone even checking what these men are saying about how, oh, I told you this is going to happen. This is going to happen. OnlyFans is going to do it. Is anyone even going to do like a quality assessment at end of year grading when they say, you know what? You told me this never happened. You told me this, that never happened. Nope. You guys are going to continue as nothing ever took place. And it's just, bro, man, I'm telling you, his rise to the top has exposed so many men and content creators. I don't know how you guys can even sometimes sleep at night. That's how serious it is. That's how serious it is when you look at optics. Pure optics. It's crazy. Now, yeah, do you know what? You bring up a fantastic person, and this is something which I'm so surprised. Us in the UK have not done a good job. I'm talking about black men in the UK. If you want to call it some sort of people in some sort of black UK manosphere or whatever you want to call it, we've not done a good job. You know the reason why? Because Ruba Zaman, he is an Indian in the UK. And if you look at his content is all about, guess what? Black issues. It's almost like, who's that other guy? Murad Morali. I can't pronounce his name, but his name's Murad. You know who I'm talking about. He's also another guy. He's got nothing to do, you could argue, with the black community. Now, I find it interesting because this exposes women too on the second person, Murad, because Murad capes, let's be honest, he panders to black women and he always talk about black women's issues. Black women give him a pass. Oh, yeah. Oh, he's on our side. He's on our side. And this is the stupidity of how easily we can be manipulated as a people. Because check this out. Rubel Zaman and Murad, yeah, that's his name. That's his name. I can't pronounce his surname. Apologies. I don't really listen to his content, so I've not heard how he says his name. But both of them are the exact same type of people on the different opposite spectrums. But both of them are basically, you could argue, I mean, would you not call that culture vulturing? Seriously, would you not call that culture vulturing? How this guy, he's always talking about this and that. And I'm like, listen, it's not like one video. It's every video. Every video. But because you guys like the content, again, you guys like pandering. There's another thing that you men like, and women. We know women like to be pandered to, but you men like to be pandered to. Because you like to be pandered to, you don't give a shit about who is actually delivering you the message and who is profiting from your dysfunction. We talk about how we don't own any businesses of legit. We talk about how the things that are ours aren't even owned by us. We talk about Tropical Sun. I talk about Turtle Bay. These are all, we talk about hair products. When it comes to skin products, these are all things which, let's be honest, we've allowed to take place. We've allowed other cultures to sell our own shit to us. And I'm like this, you know what? I don't know why we even get, sometimes like, why am I even getting upset when I see that? When I see, it's par for the course, but that's our fault because we allow this stuff to take place. Now, granted, it's YouTube, it's a free business. You can talk about whatever you want, whomever you want. I get that. But the fact that we have our own people supporting it, that looks badly on us. And all because they preach the message that we want them to preach. And this brings on to another thing, what kills me the most. And this includes like SYSBM crowd, the SYSBW crowd, all of them. Because we have such an issue between each other, black men, black women, because we have issues between each other, we allow other groups to come in and chat shit about us as a people, which we should never, ever allow that to take place. We should have situations where, look, if you're coming into our space, you respect us as a people. It's like family. Family go at it with each other because that's family. But you, as an outsider, you stay your ass outside of that family dispute. Like you have a wife or a girlfriend. If your wife has a dispute with her family, her sisters, guess what? Guess what you do? Based on my experiences, you stay out of that mess. You don't even comment. You don't say a word because guess what? Their family, they have their own internal issues. Let them handle it by themselves. You just stay back. Don't even offer any sort of criticism. You just stand back. Because at the end of the day, once they make up, love and make up, their family. However, you as an outsider, you aren't seen that way. So you stay your backside out of that conversation. But no, guess what? We allow other people who are non-family members to not only come in, own the conversation, come in, own this, come in, profit off this, and then we wonder why our community look the way it does. This is why we allow this thing to take place. I'm not telling you, cancel the man, or I'm not telling you to not listen to him in a sense. I'm not telling you to do any of that stuff. I'm just objectively speaking now. This is how it looks. And the difference when if I look at the white people, when they talk about their relationship issues, is they won't actually say, I'm talking about white women specific. They will talk about Western women. So if we know they have a problem with their white women, we know damn well they're not going to talk about, oh, black women's amazing. But we do it different. And because of that, we also allow these outsiders to come in, and guess what? We then complain. I'm like, well, hold on a second. Who allowed this to take place? Who patronized these stores? And then guess what the kind of complaints we get? Oh, but we can't do this. We can't do this. But we need. That's your problem. That's your problem. We have a serious lack of doing for self. Not only lack for doing for self, but I think we don't even have the confidence to want to do for ourselves and really go and do for ourselves. Because again, if that was the case, some of our things that we, again, seasoning products, hair care products, all these things that cater to our people. I'm not saying other groups wouldn't actually be in on it, but they would never, and I mean this, never own the space like these other people own the space. And again, it's not on no racist tip, it's not on no xenophobic tip, but I've not seen a black person have a chip shop. Have you ever seen a chippy owned by somebody who's black, for example? Or I'm trying to think of even like an Asian. I know like Turkish, I know because they're kebabs, but that's like specialist type of kebab type things. But I'm on about like a local chippy. Who owns the local chippy? Who stereotypically owns these pubs and things? They're British people, white people. Because guess what? That's their culture. They sell their culture to themselves. And for 99% of it, guess what? They're owned by their own people. Yet and still, we allow other people, our chain stores, franchises, our stalwarts, to be owned, sold, get all the notoriety, all our finances, who aren't even family. They aren't even family. And I'm not saying that other people groups don't do it, but I'm telling you, it will nowhere near be as big. And it's because we really don't have a real good understanding of how we really should act. We need to really evaluate ourselves. But that's when I saw those content creators. I was like, I already knew what time it was. But this is how we are. This is how we are as people. This is what kind of kills me the most. And yeah, I could go for hours about that. But bro, when I see the content creators and when I saw that, I thought to myself, my days, my flipping days. And here's the thing: they're making absolute coin off it. Coin off this function from outsiders. That's how they do it. That's how they do it. So before I continue, there's 20 people in the live stream. Please make sure you get the likes up. Subscribe if you are new. All are welcome. Just want to say what's up to people in the chat. Ephraim, what's up? How's it going? I don't think I've seen you before. Subscribe if you are new. Controversial but true. Yeah. You're 100% right. And this is what I'm saying. Asian men generally offer product services catered to black women. Yes, they do. I mean, again, where I'm at, I go to when I get like hair care products and things like that, or we look at the weave stores, extensions, do-rags, all them kind of things. I already know who the owner is. And yep, sure enough, Asian men, they have it locked. So I'm telling you, we like, and the thing is, if we put up for this long, then it must mean that we like it. That's how it is. That's how it is entirely. Yeah, Fiona, do you know what? That's another thing that I'm clearly, I know you've noticed, and a lot of women, yep, they've not only copied his style, but his talking points. And again, I think it's just because you be able to better judge of that. But I don't know if it's because they feel as if they don't agree with Kevin Samuels, they're going to be seen as these masculine, unfit, women. But then again, I think a lot of these things are just pandering again, because guess what? The audience is going to be men. So, bro, it ain't just men copying style, women copy this style too. But the reason why I'm talking about the men right now is because you guys are supposed to be the leaders, man. You guys are supposed to be following the beat of your own drum, not the beat of somebody else's drum. But nope, this is the problem with how objectively I'm looking at this space. If I was to grade this space, these are the problems with followers, not leaders. And it's all so clicky. I realize that this whole it's also clicky. Do you know when you go into different spaces, it's like school. It ain't about content, it's about clicks. And this is actually the YouTube game in a nutshell. For those who want to know about content and creation and how it all works, and someone mentioned in the chat about, our girl, Jess X, it's all about clicks. If you can get in the right click, then your channel will have such a better start in terms of footprint, in terms of push. It is unbelievable. I mean, again, every space, any space that you go into, if you're in there long enough, just like school, and it seems like just in life, because I thought, this whole click thing, this is all like you're in school, and once you get into an adult, you now become more about we all talk about, we care about the individual, we care about, the individual, we care about this, we don't care about this, we don't care about that. No, 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 no. Truth be told, human nature is human nature. We fall into our tribes, we fall into our cliques, and this is what this is. This is all about clicks. And because of that, if you dare fall out with somebody in that clique, not only you ostracized, but that whole clique will then descend on you like the plagues of Egypt. Again, I have to go to the main one as well, but not just KS. I mean, you had Fresh and Fit, the whole beef that took place. Now, funny enough, Fresh and Fit were part of their clique. They were part of the same clique of KS, O'Shea, and all them man them. They were part of that clique because guess what? A lot of them, obviously, they were invited onto their shows. They did what they needed to do. So again, like I said, they worked up their network. They worked up their clique. They were involved in the clique. Now, until they started having an issue with that clique, again, this is where the pettiness comes into place. Now, was that squashed? No. Guess what happened? Man, they tried to cancel Fresh and Fit. Now, again, I have no dog in this fight whatsoever. So I'm just laying the facts as I see it. They decided, because now you've come against the clique. Now, because let's be honest, they did say some things which, again, you're like, okay, fair enough then. But guess what now? Now they're outsiders. Now they're not part of the cliques. But instead of just saying, all right, cool, you do you, we do us, what did they decide to do? Like a typical liberal woman or the left, they try to cancel them. So think about this. People are moaning about Fresh and Fit now issuing copyrights. But you know what kills me the most? You could argue that they were the ones who were almost experiencing cancel culture in the first place. So once they did what they did and they apologized, because they did have a long hour live stream clarifying everything, and then they moved on. But guess what? No. There have to be distance. There have to be exercise. There have to be excommunicated. There have to be this. They decided to use a typical, and keep this in mind now, this is supposed to be a conservative space. In a conservative space, they decided to use exercise cancel culture. I mean, I'm telling you, man, once you understand the cliques, you understand exactly who to be cool with, who not to be cool with. There are people who you can say whatever you want to say. You won't suffer. There are other people, you say one thing, you're going to get killed. You're going to get killed because guess what? It's all about cliques. It's all about factions. It's all about groups. It's all about tribes. That's what this game is. And again, it's same with human nature. We have our tribes when it comes to race, ethnicity, culture, politics, class, what else? Flipping out, height, good looks, everything. We have our groups, and let's be honest, people talk about, oh, I don't see this, I don't see that. We really are a tribal people. We just are. And when I see this space, and when I see, again, this transcends all manifest space. Pan-Africanism are the exact same way. I mean, I know a lot of these spaces in the sort of pro-black space where, again, you fall out with one another. That is it. You're falling out with the wrong person. You are not coming back into that group. I'm like, is it really that serious? But yep, the whole group will turn their whole back on them. I'm like, well, hold on a second. You surely as an individual should like, look, just because you have a falling out with that person doesn't mean I have to have a falling out with that person. But that's not how it works. That's not how it works. And again, I even heard a big content creator tell me this or say this, not to me directly, but say this, that because he didn't want to pick sides, again, pick sides like a woman. These all for me. Again, ladies, I'm sorry, but these are all traits. I'm like, these are so petty, so messy. But this is so petty. But because you didn't pick sides, or you picked the wrong side, or you didn't want to engage in this whole, well, because that person fell out with me, you must now be enemy of that person as well. I'm like, since when in the adult world is that supposed to be the case? But nope. If you don't pick the side that I'm on, you are now my enemy. I'm like, where in the hell did that come from? But this is what takes place. So big content creators now, they've been shunned because guess what? They didn't want to engage in that BS politics. It's, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. But this is how, if you look at objectively, how this space has become. And this is why I'm just like, oh my days. It's something which, when you look at it, it doesn't look good for us as men in particular. Again, people say, oh, why talk about the men? Well, who else do we start with? The leaders always are started with first, but just taking an objective view. Ain't about no shot, no shade, no anything like that at all, but just an objective view of what's going on. This looks so bad. It looks so bad on us. It's unbelievable. But this is how it is. It's all about clicks. And it's so flipping messy. It's nothing but messiness. And here's the thing, once you decide to leave that click or once someone falls out with you, this is what they engage in next. Again, you've heard this before, sign language, shame, insults, gaslighting, and the need to be right. And you know, when I heard this, I was like, this is the pot calling the kettle black. Because we have to go here. We have to do this because all these big content creators, they all engage in the same thing when I talk to women. They all engage in it. And I'm just like, is anyone going to call them out on the fact that they use matter of fact, they are the authors of this tactic. The authors of this. And I'm going to explain how. What's the first thing that if a female has a disagreement about, your thoughts or views on life or how a woman should be, how a man should be, what does the guy do? What does the guy say? Or if the woman's saying that I'm single because of this, what's the first thing that guy's engaged in? Height, weight, dress size. Now, why do guys do that? Is that because they want to have a conversation about it? Or is it because they want to, I don't know, engage in sign language, shame? So all these guys will talk about, oh, what do you look like? What's this? What's that? I'm like, hold on. So, and it's nothing to do with trying to help the woman. It's all about shaming the woman. Oh, you too fat. Insults. Oh, you this, you that. Insults. And then gaslighting. If a woman says that she has a problem, oh, it can't be the guy's fault. It must be your fault. Every single time, it's always the woman's fault. Now, here's the thing. I've got to be fair and balanced here because I am a guy still. And I agree with some of the stuff. Women will try and absolve themselves of accountability. I ain't even going to lie on that. I ain't even going to lie on it. But I always find it interesting how they try and say women always gaslight. But hold a second. You're doing the exact same thing. You're gaslighting women on every situation. Talk about colorism. Oh, no. You make up in your head when some of these content creators only date non-black women. And not only non-black women, if it is black women, it's non-dark-skinned black women. When it comes to all these situations which I know for a fact that there's credibility on. I'm not saying it's 100%, but there's credibility on. Guess what they try and do? Well, actually, you've not thought about this. And actually, well, this is the case. And actually, well, that's not the case. And you've not thought about this. Gaslighting. Trying to make it out that it isn't something what it is. Why? Why they do this? Because they need to be right. They always have to be right. What is one of the things which guys will always resort to? At the end of everything when it comes to conversations with women? Well, what's if the world was to blow up right now? Would you need men or not? What's if this would happen? They're always trying to pin something in order for them to say they are right. We are always right. Have you always realized this? All these content creators, they're never wrong. Or if they are wrong, it's always some sort of, again, slimy, tawny tactic which is used, which I'm like, all right, whatever. You try to scheme or cleverly align your way out of it. And again, what kills me the most is this. These are men now. These are men. So when I hear this kind of crap about, oh, you're always trying to shame us, I'm like this. Okay, fair enough. But you guys use the exact same tactics. Exact same tactics. And it just makes me laugh the whole time like this. All right. I'm just like, it's the pot calling the kettle black every single flipping time. They engage in the exact same tactics that they accuse, and I'm going to use this word because that's how it is, the enemy of using. Make that make sense. But again, You know why they do this? Because this is one of the things that they do once you fall out with people. And this isn't just about women, this is about guys. Because if you fall out with a guy, guess what they'll try and do now? They'll try and dox you. Again, the biggest reason why content creators are their personal situation comes out is because they're falling out with a content creator. So guess what happens? Whenever they're falling out with a content creator, guess what? All this public information comes out of nowhere. You can always tell when someone's falling out because they use the exact same tactics. They shame them, they insult them, they gaslight whatever their talking points or whatever that they've done. And guess what? They always want to be the person on the right side. Whenever I see, again, over the last year, all these situations that's taken place, all of this is all about, guess what? Reputation damage. A thing that, again, that people say that women engage in, because let's be honest, at school, women would normally engage in these things like tactics of reputation damage. That's why women's reputation, you call a woman a hoe, her reputation, oh my God, oh my God. That's why, whereas as a guy, it's different. But these are what these guys do. They operate under this sort of, yeah, pretty much shame tactics, reputation shaming, like a woman, because that's exactly who these guys have become. I'm telling you, if you just look at the play, if you take a step back and look at how these guys operate, for the most part, you've seen every single template that they would argue themselves that women involve themselves in, that women get themselves involved into. Now, I don't know what's going on. I'm just gonna take a break because I don't know what's going on here because I got some users who are just spamming something in the chat. So I don't know what that's about. Give me a quick second. I'm telling you, man, these bots are crazy. All right, then. Cool. Cool. If anyone in the chat mods, if you see those comments again, feel free to from anyone, just block them and remove them. I don't think they're actual real people. That what's his name, Shane Binney and Penelope Barnett. I don't know who they are. They don't seem like just regular people. I think there's bots. So there's so many bots that go on just in general when it comes to uploads. But now it looks like they're coming onto live stream. So I don't know what the hell that's about. But yeah, it is what it is. It's yeah, it's one of those things. But yeah, so that's what happens. Again, this space is nothing but clicks. And once you fall up with them clicks, guess what? Reputation damage ensues because guess what? They need those people on their side. They need their group on their side. And it's just like, oh, it is so, again, it's so feminine. It's so corny. It's unbelievable. Now, again, I understand if it's in defense of your character, because here's the difference. If somebody comes out against you and puts out information, you have a right in order to respond. No question at all. And I agree with that. You have a right to respond. But I'm telling you, man, some of the things that I see engaging, that it got nothing to do with responding. A lot of times it's because they're falling out with these. They've gone into petty, messy, just messy tactics, shaming tactics, reputational damage. Because guess what? For whatever reason, these content creators have falling out with each other, and it's just like I'm telling you. And then the reason why as well this happens again, going back to the situation that took place earlier this year, another massive thing, another massive reason that I believe it is. And the Duke, welcome, man. This is something that you touched on in your stream when you were talking about the fresh and fit situation the first time. Jealousy. Jealousy. Now, I don't know if this is true. I've heard a lot of things. I'm just keeping my nose clean. I don't really care about the situation too much. But a lot of the reasons why these things take place is because people are jealous. Yes, they are. Again, jealousy. What did JC say? That's a bitch trait. But this is who these guys are. They're jealous. They're jealous of people who, guess what, take the shine. As if in a space like YouTube, all people can't benefit. No. Once they see somebody, I won't say working hard. Let's not say that. But once they see somebody who's outshining them, once they see the new kid on the block, guess what happens? Jealousy ensues. And this is how these cliques are formed the most. And this is how you have breakaways. Again, you have so much breakaways because guess what? People are jealous. People don't want to be under this another person. I mean, you see it all the time. Jealousy. We don't like the fact that this person's got more subscribers than we have, or is trending to have more subscribers than we have. We don't like that this person has a pull on a certain demographic. We don't like the fact that this person is controlling the narrative. It's all about jealousy, as opposed to saying, guess what? You know what? All right. And the thing, and the worst thing about it is, these are the same people who have the same viewpoints. That's what kills me the most. For the most part, these people have the exact same viewpoints, but for whatever reason, well, I know what reason it is, jealousy, because they're getting more views, they're getting more notoriety, their names being talked about, or let's be honest, maybe their talking points that they invented, somebody else took it on. Maybe they may have just slightly altered it, or maybe even took the same talking points, and they was able to make it more mainstream. So when the new, when new people come in, when new subscribers come into the space, and they say, "Oh, so and so said this," I'm like, well, "Hold a second, he's not the originator of it." That these are sort of things what takes place. You all see it with Tommy Sotomayor, how you see how he's going down. Pure jealousy. Now, some of it is legit. Don't get me wrong. You'll be upset as an individual if your stuff was stolen. Don't even get me wrong. I agree. But you can't argue that. A lot of things that have taken place this year, when I'm just looking at this, in my end of year thoughts, these are my thoughts only. Jealousy has to be one of the number one reasons why I'm saying, listen, bro, this space, this manosphere is a bitchosphere. It's a woman's sphere. It really is, in all but name, because just the jealousy is just crazy. Envy, jealousy. I'm just like, oh my days, it is 100% unbelievable. And I'm like, these are meant to be the men that these younger audiences are looking up to. Again, I was making a statement that, again, if you believe this or not, the content that you listen to, the content that you watch, when you use all your senses that you watch, you listen to, even things that you smell, all these things have an impact on your mood, your spirit. And you can always tell what type of people listen to certain type of content based on the spirit that they exude, based on how they communicate with you, based on what they talk about, what they say. All these things are the same way. And I'm like, this, you're creating a bunch of exact samey, jealous, envious groups of people who, when they get on themselves, are going to be the exact same petty, jealous people. And the worst thing about it is the space is getting worse. With each iteration of content creators, the new ones who take up the mantle or the ones coming up the block, they're worse. They cut corners, they're not seasoned enough. And do you know the reason why? Because again, they see exactly what I'm seeing right now when it comes to the business of it, the finances of it. But guess what they're doing? They're cutting corners, and you can tell because guess what? They get into a lot of controversy. They don't live what they preach. They don't practice what they preach. They're just doing it for the come up. They're just doing it for the views. They're just doing it for this. And again, like I said beforehand earlier on in the stream, this is a business. So guess what? They see the business element. They're like, all right, we can fake this. We can do this because no one's going to care. Because at the end of the day, this is all entertainment, right? You guys don't care. It's all entertainment. And then look how it goes. And this is why a lot of these things are crashing and burning at record paces, crashing and burning. But again, like with the Fresh and Fit, I'll say this: they ain't going anywhere. Their subscriber base ain't going anywhere. They ain't. Then I think their channel will stay. I think their channel will stay. And guess what will happen? They'll continue to rise because at the end of the day, even when the whole situation where they lost a few subscribers, they got it back and they're well ahead of where they were beforehand. They ain't stopping. They ain't going anywhere. And to be fair, the kind of people that they have on their show far exceeds any other manosphere kind of content creator in terms of the diversity of the content. Now, I agree. And again, even though I know they don't come for that type of content, they only come for the women. We get that. Still, they have a lot of different variety of guests. They ain't going anywhere anytime soon. So, but anyway, but jealousy, man, jealousy, and envy is one of the biggest reasons why, when it comes to men, it's why again, when it comes to black men in particular, it's why we're not building as what we should be building. Let's be honest. If you look at most of our movements, when it comes to even like pro-black movements, which are supposed to be for the benefit of our people as a whole. Again, we can always disagree about how we want to get there. That's fine. But surely a movement which is designed to help us as a people, surely they're the movements that should stand the test of time. But not before long, jealousy strikes, leadership struggles, power struggles, and guess what happens? They spin to sell off, which basically, it mutes the movement, or it dilutes the movement, and then guess what? The movement is nowhere near the force that it was. And it's like now it's like, movements, leaders, it's all the same. And then people have, again, the bad rep when it comes to these movements, when in actual fact, it was designed, the tenets were designed to help us as a group of people. Jealousy, 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 jealousy. And one of the things which I've noticed, one of my observations again, I've kind of touched on this, but I want to touch on this even more a little bit, is more than ever, I've realized that men love to be pandered to more than anyone I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, I don't know what's going on in the waters at all. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it works. But I'm not saying that you should be, disrespecting men. I'm not saying that you should be, always going in on men, because that's stupid. But what I've realized is men love to be pandered to. They love to be pandered to. They love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And one of the reasons why I say they love to be pandered to is because right now, I say right now, but over the last few months, what has been the narrative, or what's still the narrative? The narrative is that women are there's gonna be a downfall of women. That's kind of what the sort of the soothing words that have been spoken about now, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's either if you're on the pro-black sector, it's the downfall of the white society, whether it be about eugenics, whether it be about population control, whether it be about this. If it's like the Hebrew Israelite sector, it's the fall of Edom. It's about the New World Order. It could be even about the jab and how that's linked to the mark of the beast. Bro, I'm telling you, man. If you go to the Pan-Africanist side, a lot of it is about, again, soothing words about scamming and how I'm the one who's going to be leading to the promised land. All of these things are soothing words. Everyone wants to hear soothing words. And when it comes to the manosphere, the soothing words have always been, men, stay the course. You're doing the right thing. Women are going to, use an expression, come back to the table, or whatever it is. They're going to fall. Society's going to fall, and women are going to be back in line. Women are going to be the ones who are going to suffer. Winter is coming, all this kind of other stuff. All of this is soothing words for the men, because you know what? Yes, not only it soothes, but it's that whole revenge piece, isn't it? It's that whole male revenge where these guys are saying that these women did me wrong, even though I'm pretty sure most of these women have no idea what you didn't do anything to you, but whatever. They did them wrong, therefore stay the course, don't worry about it. These women are going to get theirs in like 20, 30 years time when you're old and crusty. I'm like, what? But these are the soothing words that these guys want to hear. These guys want to hear these content where, they talk about all these IG models going broke, or Brittany Renner doing this. And they want to hear that stuff. They want to hear every single thing that they can do, which enables them to soothe, must be the pains of their life. It has to be. It has to be. Because that's the only reason why I think that this content thrives the way it does, because I can't understand for the life of me, and this is just me. Let me know whether I'm not seeing it from the right perspective. But I find it odd that men in these spaces revel in not only misfortune, but the demise of, I'll be honest with you, society as a whole. I mean, I was in like some black pill spaces because, again, that YouTube algorithm, but some of them are quite fascinating. But they are actually reveling in the fact of like some sort of flipping nuclear bombers attack, or some sort of pandemic. There's always some sort of I call it almost like it's like the boogeyman, where there's always some sort of crisis or something that they're waiting for, which just, it almost keeps them placated, but it keeps them on the track where they make them think that, you know what, we're on the right track, we're on the right side, because this event is going to take place, maybe an asteroid hitting the earth, or the pandemic wiping off so many of the population, or politicians are going to cut this and cut that. There's always something which these guys are pretty much preying on, almost like a faith base, where they're hoping for, where Christians, you know how it is. And again, I'm not knocking it, but Christians are always waiting for Jesus to come back. Oh, Jesus is going to come back soon. Jesus is going to come back soon. I'm like, it's been 2,000 plus years. When is he coming back? Always coming back soon. Always coming back soon. I'm like, all right. But when? Give me when. We don't know the date. We don't know the time, but he's coming back soon. I'm like, so hold a second. It's been 2,000 plus years. All right. He's still not come here yet. When is he coming? Is this realistic? Are we really just placating ourselves? Because guess what? There are other things that we need to do as opposed to just waiting. This is how this looks like. It's this tactic of, don't worry about it, guys. Guess what? It's coming. Whatever's coming, the pandemic's something is coming. It's like the mark of the beast every single so often. And the jab is a classic example of this. Depending on what space you frequent, there's always something that and I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this. Screw it. Even when I'm talking to family members and who are like Christians, and I'm having a conversation about why they weren't taking the jab, and the conversation evolved into, oh, it could be the mark of the. They didn't say it could be the mark of the beast, but I knew. I heard it. I heard it. They inferred that because obviously how things are going when it comes to passports, when it comes to going abroad, when it comes to even for some countries going to certain shops, all these things are just in the back of their mind. It's that, oh my days, this is it now. This is it. Beforehand, it was all right, RFID chips. Beforehand, I remember being young. I'm telling you, I was young, and I remember hearing crap about how identity cards was going to be like the mark of the beast. I remember hearing how this was going to be the mark of the beast. And if you read this book about the ending of the world, in which, again, 2012, the Mayan calendar, you have all these events, all these situations that have taken place, which the goalposts just move. The goalposts just move in regards to this is the new thing. This is the next mark of the beast. This is the end of the world. Jesus is coming back. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, people. All will be fine. Just wait, pray, wait. Da 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 da. It's coming back. This is how these guys are. But the difference is, it's slight difference. I say it's slight difference. But what these guys are doing is that they're reveling in these situations. They, oh my gosh, just keep waiting. Winter is coming. I'll just keep waiting. The pandemic's here. Just wait. I'm like, as if things that happen in government don't affect men as well as women equally. As if pandemics aren't killing men as well as killing women. As if a meteorite that strikes Earth will not affect men as well as it affects women. I mean, you have to understand the grandeur of delusion, but the real insanity when you listen to certain people talking about how these things are going to affect women, as if we live in a universe where politics, governments, procedures, policies, a damn near meteorite hitting the earth is not going to affect men the same way as it's going to affect women. But this is the kind of soothing words which kind of kills me the most. Come like this, oh, women are going to be this. Yeah, I'm like, but hold on, men are more homeless than women. Women are going to be left to fend for themselves. Women are going to die alone. Hold on, you guys are die to knife crime, gun crime, healthcare. You look at men's health compared to women's health these days, it's a stark difference between men's health and women's health. Men die of cancers, testicular cancers. I'm like, are we serious? Are we really, really serious in trying to try and say, oh my God, all these women are only going to be affected by this? This is the delusions, but these are the soothing words that our men are now absorbing in their spirit, in which they believe that they are not going to be impacted by these life-changing events. Imagine, just imagine. But this is what happens. This is the space. And this isn't just, again, this is the whole space. Depending on what space you frequent, you'd have different types of analogies, but it's all the same thing. They are waiting for the rapture. This is what it is. It's the rapture. But when it comes to like when the red pill space, they believe this rapture is going to make all these women just, oh my God, I'm coming back to you. I'm going to be all this submissive woman. When it comes to some of the religious spaces, obviously, you know, maybe Jesus coming back, the earth is going to be is, these sinners are going to go to hell, these infidels, we're going to overtake them, we're going to control the earth, Hebrew Israelites, we're going to be the new kingdom, all these white men, the devil, they're going to be under our feet, they're going to be our new slaves. I'm like, what the hell? The pro-blacks, Africa's going to take over, you know, black power, this, that, the other. I'm like, have you seen what's going on over there? Have you seen it? Have you seen it? It's crazy. It's crazy. But this is what it is. It's the rapture. It's Jesus coming back. This is what it is. And this keeps these people in check. It keeps the men in check when it comes to their viewpoints. It keeps their money going, because at the end of the day, here's the thing. Ready for this one? Fear is a fantastic weapon. It is. There's no other weapon like fear that can control masses. Throughout history, this has been used when it comes to the wars that took place, conquest, when it comes to immigration, when it comes to Brexit, when it comes to every single thing that takes place. The biggest factor, if you can tap into it the right way, I talk about emotional triggering, which this is a case of it, fear. Fear is the biggest factor that you can really control a group of masses. I'm talking about from your intellectuals to your non-intellectuals, because this is the thing as well, which I said at the top of the stream, but I'm going to repeat. It doesn't even matter what educational background that this individual comes from. They all the same. I talked about how you have, if anyone's, I don't care, I'm gonna name drop, I don't care. The lead attorney. This guy's meant to be an attorney, yet he's gossiping like somebody who doesn't even need a degree. So it ain't even about intellectualism, it ain't about education. They're all operating on the same tenets. So I'm just saying this. It's just crazy when I see the situation that take that fear, how fear is a massive, massive tool that religious organizations have used, political organizations have used, leaders have used, men have used, women have used, all because they want that control. For what reason? A lot of it's because of financial game, power game. But yeah, it's power, isn't it? If you have the power, you do not want to cede power. And with the changing of the guard, you are likely to cede power. And this is exactly what takes place. But fear, I'm telling you, people, if you can use fear as a weapon, but if you can use it in the right way, you can get so many people to do things which I guarantee it, they'll be like, "Oh, I never thought I would have said this beforehand," or I never would have thought this was possible." But again, fear can drive up the masses to do some crazy things, and we've seen it throughout history. History repeats itself. People talk about modern times and modern this and modern that. Listen, the only thing that's changed is the medium of technology. So obviously, we didn't have Twitter way back in the day. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have all these fantastic tools where we can talk across the universe. But don't get it confused. The same tactics are used. Fear is a big, 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 big tactic, and it's been used all the time. And this is why, again, with the fear, the pandering to them, they soothing words, because again, you're in the right. Like any organization, like the conservatives, don't worry about it, people. We're in the right. Them woke lobs, they're crazy. They're woke people. They don't know what they're talking about. The woke lot are like this. Don't worry about it, people. The people who are against us, they're our enemy. Don't worry about it. Their time's coming. You're going to see. Religious organizations, don't worry about it. They ain't nothing. They're sinners. They're infidels. We're in the right now. We're in the right. Atheists. Oh, these people don't know what they're talking about. They believe in a God. They're stupid. Fear, soothing words, control the masses. Everyone's in the right. This is the game plan. This is what I've been witnessing from particularly the men in this year, that my observations. It is absolutely crazy. The Black Brit, listen, if you believe that, I have absolutely zero problem. Zero problem. But what I'm saying is this is tools that have been used. If you understand the analogy, you'd understand what I'm talking about. So if you feel disrespected by religion, then you have to really understand. You listen to what I've said. So you're clearly not listening correctly. So, but aren't there successful white Christians? Why wasn't it held back white people back? You're almost Floyd. Well, two things. Number one, who said that there aren't successful white Christians? Who made that claim? Who made the claim that there aren't successful black Christians? I don't understand where that claim came from. And why hasn't it held white people back? Your argument's flawed. In what sense? I mean, again, I don't think you listen to a word of what I really said at all in regards to how fear has been used as a tactic. It's not going to do about holding white people back. That could have been used to propel white people, like it's been used to propel black people when it comes to black power. So I don't know what you're talking about. You're clearly not listening to what I'm saying at all. So, it is what it is. But when I just take it, when I'm looking at these case studies, when I'm looking at, the whole situation when it comes to KS, Fresh and Fit, Ab and Preach, when it comes to some other YouTubers on this side of the space, and when I look at these things, I'm like, what? These are these men who are supposed to be, or who people big them up as, the leader of this, leader of that. And I'm like, phew, there's a lot of energy that comes off at the back of this year, which has just proven to me just how misguided that we have become over this. If we talk about this last year, misguided, how we've become just a different breed of men that we always complain about. The liberal world, the left world has become these men and nothing but simps. I'm like, I hate that term, but forget the word simp. But it's just we've become a bunch of followers. We're not building to the level that we want to. When we build, it's based off straw. It's not based off strong foundations, and you can tell based on how all these flare-ups take place every so often, because it's just based on silly things, gossip, petty beefs, jealousy, envy over the smallest things. It's just crazy. But again, it's because guess what? It's no longer what it used to be. Men aren't building like they used to be in terms of, at least from this kind of space. It's just not the same. It's just one of those things where when you just take a panoramic view and see how everything's shaping up, I'd be so interested to see what happens the next year, next 2 years, 5 years. Because if you were someone to do a timeline of the space, again, like all things, like an empire, it reaches its peak, its apex. Then after its apex, guess what? It falls apart, branches fall apart, and then before you know it, the space is no longer the space that we thought it was before. And this is what it seems like. It seems like this is what would you call it? The fall of Rome. You know, the British Empire, the greatest empire that ever existed. People didn't think that was going to fall. Now, you could argue, GB, Great Britain, UK is still up there, but it's not the force it once was. So the question I have, or what I'm going to see, is I'll be so interested to see exactly how the space is going to evolve or how it's going to shape up. Is it going to get better, get worse? Obviously, that's subjective to whoever you listen to. But yeah, it's so interesting. And one of the other things which I wanted to address is just how, when it comes to men like to being pandering to, it even works when it comes to female content creators. Because another thing I've noticed over this year in particular is the rise of female content creators like no other in a predominantly male space. Now, my personal opinion is I don't care. I mean, I don't care if a woman has certain opinions on this or wants to engage these kind of topics. I don't care. I mean, some people have this view about, you're a woman, you shouldn't say, all right, whatever. I don't have that viewpoint. I don't have that viewpoint of, women aren't allowed to do this in that sort of sense. I don't do that kind of stuff. But I always find it interesting how these guys who at once were like, women shouldn't have a voice. Because if you listen to these guys, that's what they're basically saying. Women shouldn't have a voice. Women shouldn't be saying this. Women shouldn't be doing that. Women shouldn't be doing this. And yet and still, if the woman says what they want them to say, guess what? Fall right in line. Not only do they fall right in line, but they also support them. They also uplift them. They also cape for them. They basically treat that. And these, again, these are people who will once say, well, hold on a sec. Female nature says this. Female nature says that. But yet, if a woman just happens to pander to certain individuals and happen to look a certain way, all that goes out the window, which means two things. You're not grounded in your belief system. You're shaking your belief system. And it doesn't take much for somebody to infiltrate the ranks, which, again, if we want to take it holistic and look at black movements historically, we look at Marcus Garvey and we look at his the Universal Negro League of Association, which was like the biggest ever Pan-Africanist movement that's ever been constructed to this day, year to date. That was infiltrated. Now, it was by his own. FBI infiltrated it. Movement got deaded. Again, the rest is history. But this is what happens. This is how sometimes it's kind of easy to infiltrate, it seems, spaces. And again, this is what I don't necessarily believe in, like women shouldn't be allowed to say these kind of things like these other guys are saying. But if you go by what they're saying in terms of women shouldn't be doing this, or how can a woman teach me this, and how can a woman teach me this and that? If you go by what they're saying now, check this out. These women, because they preach the exact same talking points that they agree with, boom, they now cede position. They cede leadership. They cede the role to the woman. When they always talk about the man should be the head, the man should be this, the man should be that, because it's this, because it's that, cool. But yet and still, if a woman has a talking point and she don't look half bad, we all know we all know the reason what it is. Let's be real. We all know what it is. They blow up, and guess what? They have a completely different talking point. And it's like, man, I'm telling you, there's certain things where when you observe it in a cold light of day, the facts, it absolutely, I just crack up. I'm just creasing about how it happens. And it's like, man, I'm telling you, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, two things. I said that people waiting for Jesus to return. Yeah, I did. I never said it was waiting. I never said that was holding them back. Here's what I was saying. I was saying it's the way of creating fear, and it's the way of saying, guess what? So in the case of the manosphere, when it comes to winter is coming, when it comes to bad things are going to happen to bad people, because that's what Jesus' return is going to be about, isn't it? The Black Brit, you're a Christian, right? You understand this. Jesus' return signals what? It signals good people going to heaven, bad people going to hell. That's what I'm talking about. It's not about holding them back, because if you're a Christian, as you say you are, then you understand that this earthly realm ain't nothing but it's nothing. It's not about your earthly possessions, it's about your spiritual possessions. So that holding you back, you're gonna have to clarify what you mean by that, because you could argue, which I know your Bible preaches, that the people who inherit this earth aren't the ones who God is going to come out to save. So we have to agree to disagree. But what I'm saying and what I'm going to repeat is, when I'm talking about the rapture effect, that Jesus is waiting to return, it's all about punishment. It's all about people are waiting for him to punish people who are against him. This is the whole red pill movement. At least now, these guys are waiting for something to take place. The pandemic, the jab, a meteorite to hit as punishment for, guess what? Either these evil women, these hoes, these 304s. That's what that Jesus is waiting to return. It's got nothing about holding them back. Now, if you ask me that question, yes, there are some people who it does hold them back because they're just waiting. But the whole point or the whole premise was they're waiting for somebody to enact justice. That's Jesus. That's who he is. That's who Christians believe. He's coming back to save his people, and equally, he's coming back to damn people to hell. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So if you understand what I was saying, you would get that. Same when it comes to, again, Hebrew Israelites. We talk about them. They talk about the kingdom. It's all about punishing. It's all about justice is coming, because guess what? These red pillars, these people on these spaces, they believe that, guess what? Don't worry about it. Keep progressing. Keep holding on, because when he comes back, whenever this thing hits, you are going to be in the right. And I was saying that can't be right, because guess what? In the case of a pandemic, in the case of a meteorite hitting the earth, it's going to affect men, women, and children, none the like. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. Listen, Black Brit, you can't chat to me about Christianity because, listen, my background, I know all about it. So I don't know what you're talking about. Clearly, you don't know what you're talking about, but whatever. But that's what I was talking about. If you got it, you got it. If you didn't, you just don't know what you're talking about. That's how it is. That's how it is. But we'll just agree to disagree. But these are my thoughts when it comes to this whole piece, when it comes to this space, observing the space, and how right now, when it comes down to it, it's all about. I know it's all about it. Listen, I know I'm not new to this. I know YouTube is a business, but you know, when it comes to spaces which are supposed to empower men, we're falling away from that whole tenet of empowering men. So what we've gone to now is just this gossipy base situation where all of a sudden we're trying to pander to men. We're trying to create this environment where, again, it just fuels jealousy, enviness, as opposed to what I thought a lot of these spaces were meant to be about. When it's meant to be about the progression of, again, depending on what space you fall into, consciousness, when it comes into manosphere, womansphere, whatever it's meant to be about, it just digresses. It just digresses. And this is exactly how this space has evolved. And from a male's perspective, from a man's viewpoint, it's just so hilarious when you look at this year, from top of the year to now, we're in December now, to the end of the year. You just can see it. You can just see it for what it is. It is unbelievable. But yeah, and and overall, I do want to I want to tackle one other topic. I'm going to do it another time, because I wanted to tackle you know how everyone does at the end of the year. In 2022, please can we stop saying this? In 2022, please can we stop saying this? In 2022, please can we stop doing this? I'm going to probably do on the live stream talking about this, but I kind of want to keep it light and brief, because I don't want to be getting too much on this beaten path. Again, I'm trying to put out more positive energy. So, you know, it is what it is. But I tell you what, Black Brit, I tell you what, if you want to go on a panel about something, if you want to have a one-on-one discussion, I'm all ear for it. I'm all ears for you to tell me what your Christianity is. So I'm serious. I'll listen. I'll be respectful, as I normally always am. So if you want to go on the panel sometime to talk about your disagreements with my viewpoints on Christianity and what you thought I said was wrong, I'm more than happy to do so. So my emails in the channel is, I think it's in the description to this. Message me and we can set something up. Honest to God. So you can tell me exactly your viewpoint. I can go from my viewpoint if you're willing to. So yeah, and listen. If you say I always go on or always about it, fine. Okay, then cool. So if you want to, I'm more than happy to. We can set up a live stream. We can do it that way. We can have a one-on-one chat, and then you can air out all your grievances. I'm more than happy for it. I don't mind. I really don't mind. Not on this one, because this is not about that. This is something completely different. But I have absolutely zero qualms about it. So if you want to do it, message me. All right, and then we'll set it up. Otherwise, if you understood the analogy, you understood it. Now, so that's what I had today. That's what I wanted to establish. That's what I wanted this viewpoint. Just, bro, I'm telling you, man, this space has gotten smaller. Funny enough, with all the rise of the content creators, the space have actually gone smaller, and content is devolved. I mean, when I'm looking for content now, it's like finding a needle in a haystack, where real content now is just becoming less and less. And this is kind of results of what's taking place because of the rise of, you know, it's like mainstream. It's like shops. You know how in shops beforehand, about 20 years ago, there wasn't as many like chain stores and franchises as there used to be. Now, used to be like on every corner, like, used to be a Carphone Warehouse, a Greg's, and a Subway. You know what I mean? KFC, Burger King's, McDonald's. All of a sudden now it's a case of everything's changed. Everything is just regurgitated chain stores. There's not a lot of originality that takes place. Whereas beforehand, everyone had their own little niche originality. It was pretty cool, quirky. You could fit into this place, fit into that place. Now it's a case of everything's just franchised. So if I was to sum up the space as a whole across across the whole spectrum, it's now a franchise chain store situation as opposed to independent stores where people had their boutique shops. People had this, people had that. That's how I would describe this space, and this is what I would. This is how kind of I see it, and I suppose in this situation like YouTube, everyone has their own little channel, but they're all talking about the same stuff on time, on cue. They all react to the exact same thing. It's all the same. So once you listen to one, it all in the same. You can always tell the exact same content is going to come right out of that individual. It's all the same thing, but that's how it is. But I'm gonna before I end the stream, I'm just gonna look at the chat, see if I've missed anything which you guys are saying and girls are saying, and then I'm gonna end the chat. I'm sorry, I'm gonna end the live stream because I'm not gonna keep on for too long on a Monday evening. But again, I appreciate everyone for coming in there. Again, Black Brit, I appreciate you for coming here. Again, I have no problems with you disagreeing with me at all about anything. So I'm more than happy to have a discussion if you're willing to about these things. If I don't know what I'm talking about, okay, I will concede. I will concede. Because I'm a big enough man, I believe, to be able to say, you know what, I've looked at that position and I agree, I disagree with my viewpoint. I'm happy with that. So again, drop me a message, email me, and then we can set something up if you're willing to. So yeah, but let's look at this chat. Yeah, yeah. And this is it really. And unfortunately, what happens is when it comes to someone said this projecting, um, they're projecting onto people who have done nothing wrong. And again, this is women do the same thing, men do the same thing. We're all doing the same thing right now. We're in these spaces where we get emotionally triggered, and then we treat innocent bystanders as if they're the person who did something wrong when they've not done anything to you, as opposed to treating people with just that that general respect. And but yeah, it's crazy. I see it a lot. It's all about that emotional triggering. If you can create some sort of fear, if you can create that sort of energy, then I'm telling you, man, you can. The masses will just change in an instant. I mean, people talk about racism and this kind of stuff, and one of the reasons why is because boom, it creates that fear. It creates a situation where people who've done nothing wrong, hadn't done anything wrong to them, they just get angry because one man and one woman said something here there about, oh, so did this to me. I'm like, I'm sorry to hear that, or so did this to someone. I'm sorry to hear that, but please, please, please don't generalize. And what people tend to do is they generalize and they yeah, here we are. Here we are. They project their emotions and feelings onto these things. But anyway, guys, anyway, people, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to I won't even say a rant, but listening to my viewpoints, my thoughts on what's happening over this year. It's still not ended yet. And so there's still more things to come about all the beefs and all the bickering that have taken place. So I appreciate everyone for coming in. If you listen on the playback, please like the stream, subscribe, share if you are new. But yeah, no, nothing but positive vibes going forward, man. Nothing but positive vibes. But yeah, um, appreciate everyone for coming in. Again, until next time, I'm out. It would be helpful actually end of the broadcast. I actually just left the stream. But yeah, bye everyone.